So, activities or resources. In this video, you will talk about this one. I expand it. And well, first off, as in other places, we first have some text, and this text is going to be helpful for us to understand what's underneath here. And we are also going to, for example, see that some of these things, even though you're studying web design, it's going to be quite different from course to course what's going to be in there. Sometimes I will have something similar of description, descriptive text for each week and so on. In this case, I don't. And sometimes there will be less recordings or more recordings and so on and so forth. It's going to be different from each course, of course. Sorry, that no pun intended. But that is something I have to say just right off the bat, that is not going to be the same for all courses. Now, I think it's good that we get into the practice of actually reading the instructions first. I sometimes get questions for the students or not sometimes, I very frequently get questions for students where I have to just return by saying it's already written in the text and in the instructions, so please read the instructions before committing your questions to me. Because I will never actually answer a question when it's already in the instructions. If the students have a problem understanding that instruction, they should tell me where the text is that they didn't understand and ask me to clarify it. And they should be specific enough to not say just the whole instruction. We have to be constructive to criticism. We have to be direct also to say which part of it are you talking about and which is not clear and so on and so forth. So getting questions which I've already answered either in instructor or in announcements, I will always redirect you to say, look inside the course room for the instructions that you just asked me about and asked in the mail about. So please, instead of asking me first, please look through first. Now, the activities column specifies the activities expected to be completed during the week, excluding examination tasks. Now, that's important. Because if you understand that we had examination tasks up here, I want to keep them separated. I don't want to tell you that on week 40 you are going to submit so many assignments, and you're going to submit some other at week 38 or whenever it's going to be. I'm not going to write it here as well. That part is available up here in examination task, where you can read it and open and close and so forth. And we just talked about that in the previous video. Now, the activities is going to just say in which order you are doing things in your studies to keep on track. While doing all of this, you must keep on also taking on the examination tasks. If you just do what's in here, you will completely miss out on the possibility of doing the examinations. So please follow both of them. This is the route for study, and this is the route for examination. The list in the activities column are numbered to indicate the order in which the content should be undertaken. That is also important. And you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Instead, taking it in a different order would not only be counterproductive, because sometimes if you're with course introduction, for example, it's going to be the first thing I have, and in the end of the week I have an exercise in this case. Going there expecting to be on an exercise and going there to be in the course from introduction, you see that is just going to be kind of foolish, and I don't believe anyone of you would do so. So please take them in order. And then ensuring the students are adequately prepared in sync with this course schedule. This is exactly what this is. The purpose of this is to have you in sync. If you read through this and understand it somewhat, It depends on how well you need to understand it from course to course. It depends. Sometimes you get introduced to it, and you nurture it very close to you, and the things you learn, they grow on you over a couple of weeks. Sometimes you need to understand it immediately, but anyway, you have to have it read through it, looked at it, follow along with it, and whatever we tell you to do in this case. Because if you do so, you can feel that you are in sync. You've done what is required from you. The calendar icon you see here indicates scheduled live events, while the red circle signifies content that has been recorded and is available for viewing, but it's not scheduled. So it means I will not be present, none of my teacher will be present during these times when we have a red circle. But you would have a recorded event, something that you will take you to a video or a playlist where you can follow along the lecture or the lesson and so on and so forth. But when you have this scheduled thing, it means that actually this is part of something you could probably see on Time Edit, the one you talked about up here. You see this one, Time Edit, which means it's a scheduled event. I or any of my fellow teachers will be there, and we will be either holding the thing live, not recording it. You may ask if you can record it, of course, but we'll hold it live. And then we have an exercise and so forth. I will not record this myself. You can, in sometimes if we have it in Zoom, if it's a distance course, you can most of the times record it. You have to ask first though, because I have to also ask my fellow students, because this is not, we don't want to record our fellow students when they're asking questions, not knowing that you or your fellow students are recording. So it's about being private. So please ask me before you record, so I can ask the whole class. Because it's not my, I don't want to make the decision. I think I can, in fact, make the decision, but I would like to talk to the whole class about me making the recording before I do so. Resource links to Google Drive folder, to a Google Drive folder containing files and links pertinent to the week's activities. So pertinent means that we have things connected to those weekly activities. So if I go in here, I can do that actually. You see I get a folder called exercise files, lecture files, and lesson files, and I can go down here and I can download them, and then I get these, of course. And you may be like, oh, I've never been here before, but it's not that hard. You just click on this three-dotted line here and just go download. It's going to be perfect and very easy, I think, to download resources connected to each week. And that thing goes for all of these. So whenever there's like no folder there, it's because there's actually no material for that week. And then at the end, when we're starting the project, it's basically you are on your own with a lot of things and you have no additional material. And in these cases, there will be no folders and no resources. But when there are, you find them out here. I think this is kind of easy to understand, but before we leave the video, let us just click on one of those links. We could go to, for example, Basic HTML, this lecture. Where will it take me? Well, in this case, it will take me to a playlist, and it could have been a video in some other direction. It doesn't have to be something on YouTube like this. It doesn't have to even be recorded by me. It could be recorded by someone else. But anyway, this is, in this case, recorded by me. And then you just start watching it. If there's a playlist, of course, you watch it in order. Watching it in a different order is not going to be helpful for you. Skipping through it, it's not suggested, because I'm going to mention important things throughout those videos. So just because you think you may know the syntax, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe you would have had, it would be good if you had stayed and watch the whole video, because you would learn something that would be key to understanding something else in the later videos. So please don't skip through them believing that you already know, because probably you don't. You have to somehow keep in mind that you're taking this course for some reason. And even though you have past experience looking through this, maybe you just learned it by yourself. Otherwise, you would have an academic course to prove for you knowing this already. And then you should not take this course. But if you have no academic course showing that you know this, maybe you never learned the theory. You just learned how to do it in the practice of it. And these things are miles apart. So I'll take up theory and the practical part of it, and therefore you have no reason to skip through it. Look through all of it. With that said, I think I can say that we have walked through the activities and resources. And as I said, there could be more things introduced here for other courses, but in this course there's not.